We're in Greene County. The county seat is Xenia, but we're going to an interesting place called Yellow Springs. Antioch College is here. It started in 1850, and its first president was Horace Mann, who's known as the father of American education. Yellow Springs has a lot of interesting architecture. There's a historic railroad station that's been redone. There's an older post office. But we're going to look at one specific building that looks pretty interesting. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Max.
Hello. Hi, nice to see you.
Well, I haven't been in Yellow Springs in a while. I'm glad to be here. Tell me about this wonderful building where we're standing.
Well, we're glad to have you here. This is a architecture studio for Chrome Yellow Springs, and it's housed in the former First Baptist Church.
So it's not really working as a church anymore. It's,
No.
it's a sort of a commercial building
Yes.
in a historic, what was a historic church.
Yeah, historic church. Kevin is an expert on the subject, so I'll defer to him on the history.
Well, when was the church built?
In the 1850s.
Okay.
It was built by a Presbyterian congregation that never occupied it. And so eventually it was sold, and the First Baptist Church that moved in 1869 purchased it.
Okay, so it was here almost 20 years, but never occupied
Yeah,
as a church.
never occupied.
Until the First Baptist. And First Baptist must have quite a history.
The congregation was founded in 1863, and its initial name was the Anti-Slavery Church. So that gives us an idea of the times. That's the middle of the Civil War. The Emancipation Proclamation had been issued earlier that year, and so that's in the name of the initial name of the church.
And Yellow Springs has quite a history in the Underground Railroad movement, doesn't it?
It does. There's a article from the 1890s by an Ohio State professor who wrote about the Underground Railroad, and there's a map that he has showing the routes in Ohio. And there are so many routes that come through Yellow Springs, and so when you look at us on the map, we're a direct line going north to Canada, really. Yeah. And so this church is kind of being founded in that pathway. So if we think about Yellow Springs in 1863, when this congregation was founded, there's a well-established Black community here by that point. And part of the reason is because many of the communities around here were not welcoming to Black people. They were really sundown towns. Yellow Springs was not. Black people had been moving here at least from the 1850s and maybe even earlier. They owned land. They were building their own buildings. And so that's the community that First Baptist enters into.
Okay.
And then in that community, after the Civil War, that population grows even more, and it's mainly people from Kentucky, Virginia, the Upper South, who are coming to Yellow Springs. And again, because they're not welcome in many of the other communities, they're coming here and they're thriving. And so this congregation is thriving too. It becomes a major center of community events, dinners, entertainment, the kinds of things that Black churches do. We're doing across the country in the latter part of the 1800s.
Well, that adds up. Yellow Springs has always been known as a liberal kind of place, and it goes way back into the Civil War era, as you pointed out, where the community really welcomed the African-American arrivals. It stopped being a church at some point, and is that when you stepped in, Max?
No, actually, roughly 20 plus years ago, the church built a new facility close by on Dayton Street. And the building was purchased by a couple who converted it into a house.
Oh, okay.
So it was a house for a little over 20 years before my wife and I bought it. I had been looking for a building in Yellow Springs to open an architecture firm. And when this came on the market, it was one of the buildings that I looked at, inspected, to potentially put my architecture studio in.
Well, I'd love to see inside. Kevin, thank you so much for the information. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, Kevin. I'll see you in town.
Okay. Take care.
Bye. Come with me.
All right.
So we have a couple of bathrooms here on the left and right. The original stained glass windows are still in there. Have a conference room here. Entry up to my private loft there.
Oh,
and
what a space. Oh, this is wonderful.
thank you.
So this was the sanctuary for the church.
Yes.
It's not what you'd see in a church these days. They would have plaster on the walls, but obviously there isn't. You can see the brick walls, there's no ceiling, you can see the wood trusses above. It's really kind of a textbook of how a building like this would have been built in the 1860s.
Yeah, that's really one of the intentions of the design, was to expose the structure. The plaster was failing when we got the church, so We needed to decide whether to replace it or to repair it. When we pulled some of it back and saw the original brick underneath, it was just so beautiful, I decided to pull it all off. And in terms of the trusses, they were really what convinced me to do this project. I was a little skeptical at first about putting an architecture firm in an old church, didn't know if I could make it work. But during the inspection, I got up into the attic, I saw these beautiful trusses, and I just knew that I could make a beautiful project.
Well, the trusses are wonderful. They're obviously very old, 1860s. Made from, the big cross beams are made from single trees, and I assume this was oak?
Yes, it's oak. This type of wood is really impossible to find these days. And you can see from the way it's put together, you can see, still see the hatchet marks, you can still see bark on some of the wood, and you can really get a feel of, intuitively get a feel of how this building is held up. The various pieces are held together just with the notches. There's no screws or no nails. The only metal in the original construction are the vertical bolts at each vertical.
So we're on the main floor, but of course there's a basement area and there's a mural down here. What's the story behind that?
Well, when we opened this floor up, I noticed how prominent that wall was and just knew instantly that we had to have a mural there. And I talked to my oldest friend in the world, my best friend, Jamie Adolph, who happens to be a teacher in the local schools, if he knew a muralist in town. And so he referred me to Pierre Negley, who is the muralist who's done most of the murals on Keith's Alley here in town. Okay. And I asked Pierre to paint a mural of Keith's Alley. But I said, please make sure that you include the mural that has Virginia Hamilton in it, which happens to be my best friend Jamie's mother. And so if you grew up around here, you grew up reading Virginia Hamilton. In fact, people all over the country grew up reading Virginia Hamilton. And so Pierre suggested that the murals all reflect stories from her books. And the little girl there is from the books, but it's meant to represent Jamie's daughter, Anaya.
So there are very personal stories, but there's sort of a universality to it.
Yes.
It's really telling the story of this area.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to learn more about how the building looked before you got to work on it.
Well, I'd love to introduce you to Pastor Bill Randolph, who happens to be here.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Jeff Darbee.
Bill Randolph, nice to meet you.
Thank you for hosting us today. Tell me, what was the church like when you were here?
Well, the congregation at the time was a divergent group of people. We had a mixture of young people, older people as well, primarily an African-American congregation.
And now, how was the interior finished at that time? It was more a traditional big open sanctuary?
It was a traditional, yes, and we're very comfortable right now here, but back then it was warm. It was hot in here with literally no air conditioning. Yeah. This floor actually was where the congregation was. Mm-hmm. You'd come in the doors here.
Now, I be correct in assuming that at the lower level was where you'd have what we would call, where I came from, church suppers?
That's exactly right. We would have our fellowship meals down there. Everybody would come in and bring a meal. Everyone would contribute in that regard. This congregation has always been a very loving congregation, where if there was a need, and you didn't have to be a member of this church, if there was a need in the community, then we would stand ready to be there to assist.
So how do you feel about what's happened with the building?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what Max and his team are doing and how they've renovated this building and the whole texture of it and everything.
Well, Reverend, thanks so much for the information you gave me. I really enjoyed learning the story. Max, there's more to see if I understand.
Yes. Thanks for spending time with me.
I'm glad to be here.
This is the other half of the studio. This is my partner, Steve Pitchell.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'd also like to introduce you to Rafaela Santos.
Hi.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So tell me about the space and the artwork here.
Max wanted some artwork on the wall. I didn't really understand until I stepped into the church and felt sort of the sense of the spirituality. I was a bit sort of intimidated because I had to think of how do I honor this space. I did research on the Underground Railroad, also the importance of Yellow Springs and Ohio, and the Anti-Slavery Baptist Church, which this was. There is an installation in the conference room which talks about But the people who did the passage from Kentucky to Canada in Ohio was really crucial because they had to wait till the river froze, had to wait a whole year in order to continue their journey. The installation in the conference room is really an homage for those who made the trek. So a lot of the work was created not only to beautify the space, but also to honor the people that came through here and the history of Yellow Springs.
So you're the inaugural artist showing here, but how will other artists become involved?
Well, we will put out a call for artists. We've formed a committee to review submissions, and we'll, from time to time, select a new artist to show here.
We really want to kind of bring artists into the space that kind of understand a lot of the area. So choosing artists that really honor this space is important for us.
Well, thanks for telling the story. It's a great use for this space, and I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
Max, is our tour done?
There's one more space I'd like to show you.
Let's go see. Oh, look at this. Up close and personal with these trusses. This is even better than before.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my favorite part of the building.
Oh, yeah.
I like being really close to the wood up here, and you can see all the way up into the belfry. There's a really interesting construction detail. You can see the 4 posts that go all the way up to the roof of the belfry, and that is how the belfry is stabilized by this vertical cantilever of the 4 posts. And that's how it's held up.
And those would be from trees you just don't see anymore. You can tell how big they are. And I see they rest on this big crossbeam, which gives the primary support.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you've done a terrific job here, and I don't doubt that it's going to continue here in Yellow Springs. So thank you so much for a great tour. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.